All right, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is the Fresh Start Show with Dr. Holt, and my co-host Tom Cortez is in the house. I want to thank Tom for holding it down while I was out of town, doing some great work on the East Coast. And now I'm back home, back here in the studios of 106 The Groove, and we're happy to be with you on this great Saturday morning. Listen, we want to thank all of our supporters who are constantly with us and listening to us and supporting us. Obviously, we want to say thank you for all that you do. And great news. The Fresh Start Show has a new sponsor, the Desert Skies United Methodist Church. We are excited for your sponsorship. We want to say thank you for taking a chance on us. And because of sponsors like yourself, we are able to remain on the show and continue to keep blasting out a powerful and prolific show and podcast for you. And so we're here to make sure that we are standing for our brothers and sisters who have been incarcerated or those who are formerly incarcerated. This is what our show is about. It's a platform. It's a pulpit where we speak truth to power. We speak about the issues. We talk about the necessities of reform, from bail reform, police reform, prison reform, all types of reforms that we need in our community. And so that's why we have the Fresh Start Show, and we always getting comments and getting feedback from the community saying thank you for speaking about our issues. Thank you for speaking about an unpopular issue. Many people love to just sweep a lot of these prison reform issues under the rug and pretend that it doesn't go down. But we know for a fact that the struggle is certainly real. Listen, keep it locked. Save the date. Tom, what's going on with parole? We got a great event coming up.
Man, May 3rd, it's going to be from 12 to 2:30 to anybody that is on parole. It is going to be a resource fair for jobs and opportunities for you to step into an education, some medical help, some addiction help is out there. Mental health facilities will be out there. Come on out. Take advantage of this opportunity. There's going to be 20 to 30 vendors out there that are there just for you to get the resources that you need to move into the future. Come on out there May 3rd from 12 to 2:30 or until the line stops. We're going to be out there for you. We're hoping to have some legal advice so you'll be ready for October 2023 fresh start. And have all your paperwork prepared and ready so you can go before a judge and change your future.
Awesome. You heard it. Our new partner, Arizona Department of Corrections Parole, is partnered with Fresh Start. We have a great event for our brothers and sisters that's trying to get their life together. You want to beat us there or meet us there. Listen, keep it locked. We got another save the date. We're talking about the End of Schools and Prison pipeline. This is our first time we're working with at-risk youth to push our kids out of the pipeline from school to prison. Too many of our young people are being incarcerated, and we know what happens. Once they continue to be more incarcerated than educated, they won't be rehabilitated. Listen, we are moving our date from May 13th. We are going to move it to August 26th. So we're going to give us more time to plan and to prepare. And so we're excited about this. So please keep it locked. Save the date. The End of Schools to Prison pipeline has been moved from May 13th to August 26th on the Saturday, same time at Palo Verde High. We'll be giving you more information on that, but we're going to be helping our at-risk youth, our black and brown communities, our poor communities. We know that many times they get caught up in the school to prison pipeline, and so we're going to be doing what we can to help them. Listen, another great news about this End of School to Prison pipeline. We just developed a new partnership with the University of Arizona to partner with us on this End of School to Prison pipeline. So please keep it locked. It's going down with Fresh Start. And you know the gigantic event. We're not talking about the little taco. We're talking about the big enchilada. It's getting ready to go down October 21st, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's going down at the TCC. So keep it locked. Keep your ears open. Tell your brothers, your sisters, your cousin them, your nephews, your nieces, your godkids. They all need to get down to the TCC October 21st. You know what we do. It is the largest public safety event in the history of Arizona. There's nothing like our event. So you want to keep it locked and get down. So switching to another note, we are also really mourning the fact that, again, another mass shooter went into a school a few days ago and took some lives, took a few 9-year-old lives, took a few staffers' lives in Nashville, Tennessee. And I just wanted to take some time to just talk about that a little bit, because we also talk about trauma. We talk about mental health issues. And I don't think there's really, Tom, no trauma like seeing someone with a high-powered rifle pull the trigger on some babies. And I know that they said that she had mental illness as well. She was under the auspices of her doctor. But I am tired of seeing too many of our schools be victimized and traumatized by mass shooters. And so I just want to take this time, because I know in light of the new news about what's going on with our former president, immediately we saw the narrative shift. And I can say as well, and I'm not standing on any political side, but just on morals and humanity, I find it strange that government leaders were silent when kids were killed. And then this recent event, all of a sudden leaders have so much to say with so much emotion and passion, but we didn't share that same passion when kids was killed.
We have to go back to before that, though, bro, because just recently I had the wonderful opportunity to join with an organization, Praying Pelicans, and they bring kids from like junior high and high school to do service projects throughout the country, and they come from other states to do them. And I'm able to, at some point, give my testimony, and my testimony sometimes triggers effects in them because they hear something that may have transpired in their lives. And undoubtedly, every time it happens, you will see there is a change in the appearance of one of the people that are in the room. And I've done this from anywhere from 12-year-olds to 90-year-olds.
Yeah.
And when we talk about it, we're able to help people deal with it. We're not talking about it. That's why, this woman's not getting her help. That's why these things are happening.
Yeah.
And I'm telling these kids, you know what? You see something, say something.
Yeah.
And if somebody's bullying somebody, go get 2 or 3 of your friends and stop them from bullying them.
Yeah.
Step up. We got to step up for each other, because there's some people, bro, they can't step up for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you from prison, there's some people that can't protect themselves.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, you're so right. We and I think also removing the stigma of mental illness and people's PTSD and things like that, because a lot of times people know that they have these symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, they have these symptoms of psychiatric disorders, but they don't want to be labeled as crazy. And on top of it, still don't get the help that they need. And if you're incarcerated, if you're a felon, if you're poor, if you're per community of color, we know a lot of times people do not take that with a level of sense of urgency. And that also means access. Qualifying for health care and having access to health care is two different.
Believed.
Yeah.
And being believed.
Yeah, and being believed. Yeah.
That I've had this experience, and this is why this has transpired, because a person of color is not going to be received on that story where a white person would be received on that story.
Almost definitely.
And the story's got to come out.
Yeah.
Because we're stereotyping.
Yeah.
And the only way to change that is for everybody to tell their story.
Yeah.
And we're not hearing sides of the story.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to get out. Yeah. Because when it does, then people start to say, okay, maybe people won't see me as being weak by stepping up and saying, I'm broken, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I did almost 3 decades in prison, bro. I am broken. You can't sort out all the stuff that's wrong with me.
Right.
But each day I take the opportunity for each moment.
Yeah.
You know, and if we can get people to that point to let go of the stuff that's just eating us up, and let's deal with that a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
But just take this moment and relax.
Yeah.
Okay, take a breath and look on to the next one with a more positive look, with speaking life into it, at least.
I like the fact that you said believe, because I think a lot of times people want to be seen. A lot of times people want to be heard, and they want to be believed. And a lot of times, because people look on the outside, they see a person that's poor, they see some person of color, or they see someone who's not at this celebrity status that they're not taking serious with an ounce of urgency. And even when we're looking at the story about the shooter, was sending out warnings, that something wasn't right with her. And again, that goes back to, being believed and taken serious with an ounce of urgency. And obviously, we're not excusing the behavior, but we are explaining that many times when people are needing help, a lot of times we just look over it. We don't pay attention to it until there's this big tragedy, and it's like, oh my God, what has happened? And so again, I just want to take some time to not just rush over and skim over this issue that just happened just a few days ago, but because of a recent light of what's going on in politics today, that immediately went way off that and shifted over to our former president. And so we just in some serious times. And I will also say, regardless of how you feel about President Trump in regards to wherever aisle you lean on, from conservative to liberal or Democrat, Republican, just being American, it's not a good day to see a former president going through being indicted. That we supposed to be the beacon of light for other countries. We're trying to show what the right way of doing things to other countries. And it's hard to do that.
How democracy can come together with different viewpoints and stay on the same line with the same goals. We left that a long time ago.
Yeah, we left it a long time ago.
I remember a time as a kid where actually both sides of the aisle stood up and applauded the president. When I was a little kid, both sides of the aisle stood. That's been
so
going
polarizing.
for a long time. Now.
It's totally polarizing
they're
now.
Screaming across the aisle at each other now.
Or not even that. I mean, like, you got other people that's breaking in people's houses and doing bodily harm. And I just think that, and we're both men of faith. And I don't hide my faith, and that's why I like being on a secular show, because I like talking to the unchurched. I like talking to people that don't go to church, who want to have a relationship with God, but because of how even politics in the church,
even stigma,
and stigma have hurt a lot of people. Some people don't go to church just because of that. But I just want to speak as a person of faith, if that. We're so either far left or we're so extreme right, and Jesus is in the center. Say, hey, y'all, come meet me in the center. Me. Yeah, and you make a great point. We're so polarized in our politics. Is as if you're not like me, you are totally the enemy. And it's like, wow. I mean, we have gotten to a place to where politics is almost it's dangerous, it's toxic. It impacts your family. I mean, if you're talking about running for office and you're talking about being a political leader, you really have to have a good sit down with your family about
your background.
Because your background. I mean, and the person in your family is not even running for the position, but they're gonna get vetted too. I mean, it's so polarizing. In today's climate, and you're right, what happened to being American first? Whether if I'm Republican or Democrat, I am American. And really, political offices, political affiliations is really an ideology of how I have my philosophy, how I want the government ran. But just because you have a different type of view from my own personal ideology, that don't make you my enemy. And that's how polarizing and galvanizing our country has become, to where now you hear people say, even at the kitchen table, We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about religion because it's so polarized.
They even stopped doing prayer
Yeah.
at the dinner table.
Yeah, and that's why you got so many problems.
Right. I mean, look at it. When did they take the Pledge of Allegiance out of the schools?
Yeah.
You know, when did those things stop? When
Yeah.
did they take God out of the public schools?
Yeah.
And wow, the public schools sure went downhill. Why did
Yeah.
they go downhill?
Yeah.
And why do we have a school to prison pipeline
Yeah.
now from the public schools?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you took God out.
You took God out
You
of
took
school.
out of schools. You can't evict God and
One-
then say, yeah, I still want your blessings though. No,
Yeah.
it don't go that way. You
Yeah.
evict God, his blessings go with him. But yeah, we are really in some dangerous times. And we have to get back to the basics. We have to get back to how we used to do things. So we have to get back to the family structure. Family structure is in trouble. The way we look at things now and the way things are shifting, our communities are really been drastically impacted. And so, yeah, man, and we are in this space where we have to look at how do we get back, how do we reel everything back in. And again, I'm not being super preachy on this episode, but I still believe that God is the answer. I don't believe God just has the answer. He is the answer for the world today. And we have to get back to those basics, you know, and showing love. You know, you can't say you love God and you don't love people.
Return to your first love.
Yeah, going back to your first love.
One nation under God.
Under God.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Understand that there is a greater power than you running everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Most
But
definitely.
it says one nation.
Yeah.
We are supposed to be locked arms side by side, not standing next to each other, comparing each other, but side by side, locked arms, going toward the future.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to get back to.
Yeah.
One nation.
And our differences shouldn't create division. The differences is really a complement of what the community needs. You know, and I remember thinking about when I was up doing an assembly among some young people in elementary school, and I said, our diversity is just like chicken soup. You know, what if chicken soup only had black pepper?
Right.
What if our chicken soup only had salt? There was no garlic pepper. There was no other spices to make that dish a special dish. It was the collaboration and the diversity of those different spices that makes this really, really delicious dish, right?
Right.
And I say the same thing in our community. It's our differences is not to divide us. Our differences is really to create this beautiful dish of diversity and all of the different spices that our community has. When we blend it together, it creates this beautiful special dish. And so I always thought, regardless of our differences, whether it's, you know, from our faith and from our culture and from our politics, if we just all came together, and that's really what America is. It's the integration and the migration of immigrants, of all kind of different people coming together with different differences, cultures, past, things like that, to make a beautiful country. And we should always try to find ways how to bring harmony and unity in our nation and our community and division.
Amen. We came from the earth, we'll return to the earth. What are we doing with the earth?
Yeah.
You know, we go back to our first love. Well, our first love is we lost our naivete a long time ago, and every day we are bombarded with more things which steal away the innocence that has been lost because we just see trauma after violent event after violent event, and we're expected to just proceed. I was thinking about it on the way over here today, that after almost 3 decades in prison, how can you expect me to be normal?
Yes.
Right?
Listen.
I mean, I'm a broken person, but you know what? The guy back then wouldn't admit that. The guy now can admit that and get help for it.
But see, go deeper than that. The system is designed to break you.
Oh, yeah.
It's designed to break you.
Yeah.
It's not happenstance that you just happens to go to prison and you're so traumatized from being in prison that it's like, how do we get here? No. And then on top of that, not only is it designed to break you, it's also designed not to rehabilitate you after they have broken you. So you be wondering, like, why do we have all these issues when we talking about coming out of prison and people coming on probation and parole and integrating their society again? How there's no life skills, there's no rehabilitation, there's nothing to help heal those wounds.
Because if you give that, you cut off the pipeline.
Yeah.
And if you cut off the pipeline, you cut off people's jobs. You cut off people's livelihoods. And there's a whole bunch of people who don't want to lose their livelihood.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so why should we change the system to something which doesn't serve our futures?
Yeah.
You know, we're looking for everybody's future.
Yeah. And, you know, we talk about all the time. You know, prison calls their institution Department of Corrections. You know, I always laugh at that. The Department of Corrections. What the heck do you correct? What are you correcting? You know, we're really a department of punishment, and we have gotten really great on punishing people who have committed crimes. Now, we understand, according to our law, we are a nation of laws, and we should have the respect and rule of law. But at the same time, come on, after you've paid your debt to society, should your felony follow you for the rest of your life? I mean, after you paid your debt to society, do we really have to label you in such a way you can't put food on the table for your family? We can't get housing and all these things. And that's still a major issue today, you know. And so, again, we got 3 minutes left. Go back to talking about your event with the parole, with Fresh Start and Parole that's coming up.
Well, here's the thing. Our relationship is building with the Department of Corrections, Release and Reentry at the Pima Release Center. Our relationship is growing. But we're getting into the prisons now. And like Roger was saying last week on the show, that we're in the jail now. And we're starting with Faith Services mentoring in the jail.
Yeah.
And if we can start there, then we can walk through and maybe do the Department of Corrections job by walking through this with people and walking out of it with people and leading them into the next step of their life. The Pima Release Center, May 3rd, 12 to 2:30. You can come out there if you're on parole. Take the opportunity to just come out and talk to some of the people that are out there for you. Because everybody that's going to be there manning those tables or cutting hair or doing whatever it is, giving legal advice, they're going to be there for you because they're interested and they value you and they believe in you, because we do at Fresh Start. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't believe that every individual deserved the same love, the same generosity, the same kindness, the same opportunities.
Awesome. Listen, again, we want to thank our new sponsor, Desert Skies United Methodist Church, for taking a chance on us and say, hey, you guys are doing some great things. We want to be a part of it. So we are thankful for you and the team and the staff and the ministry for taking the chance on us and believing in us. And so what's some of the things that's coming up with them?
Well, Desert Skies United Methodist, they produce about $125,000 a year in sales that they provide to 30 plus charities around town. They also provide direct donations to families, whether they be in foster care, refugees just coming into the city, which we've had a lot of lately that have been able to provide. They've also provided for Halfway House, 2 sober living homes, 2 adult living homes, where all the furniture that was necessary for those homes, they provided it. It's just a wonderful ministry that has grown over the years. It's well over $1 million in earnings now, and we're close to about $250,000 a year in donations of either money or direct products, and it's a blast because there's people from all over the city that join together and do this work from all different churches, because we're able to touch so many lives, and it's really cool for us.
Awesome. You heard it. So again, thank you, Desert Skies, for being our sponsor. If you're looking for a great radio show that you want to be a part of and sponsor and help us keep the message going, please reach out to us. You can always reach out to me at my email, damon@freshstartint.com, damon@freshstartint.com. Give us a call. Let's see what we can do. We give you a blast out and about your product, your ministry, your organization, all that. Listen, we're just out of time. Again, we had a wonderful and super dope episode on today. If you don't have anywhere to go to church, please look for a church to go to. Tom, what's your church?
Zion City.
All right, Zion City. I'm the pastor of the Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church here off of 36 in Campbell. Come out and check us out. We are worshiping at 10 a.m. Listen, thank you for joining us. Go get my book. My books is out on Amazon. Get Your Mind Right and Trauma's New Public Health Emergency and Education. God bless you. Take care. Have a wonderful Saturday.